Imagine closing your eyes and drifting away from the world you know, letting the worries of today fall silent, and awakening somewhere beyond memory, where the waves of night whisper secrets only the ocean remembers. Far away from the busy world, beyond the reach of time, there is a shore washed in silver starlight, where the boundary between waking and dreaming is as soft and gentle as the hush of midnight tides. Tonight, you will journey to a place that once shimmered with wonder, a city whispered about in myths, its name a lullaby carried by the wind Atlantis. You are floating now, weightless on the calmest waters you've ever known, held in the arms of a warm, endless sea. All around you, the stars have come closer, mirrored in the glassy surface of the ocean, as if the sky and the water have become one, gently rocking you between them. As the breeze caresses your skin and the faint scent of salt fills the air, you feel your thoughts slowing, your heart softening, your body becoming lighter with every passing moment. There is no rush here, no noise or hurry, just the soothing rhythm of waves lapping against an unseen shore, each one promising comfort and calm. Somewhere in the distance, you hear the calls of night birds, gentle and melodic, echoing across the water. The world you once knew has faded away, replaced by this peaceful space where anything is possible. Each gentle breath you take draws you deeper into the embrace of the night, where ancient mysteries lie waiting beneath the surface, inviting you to let go and simply drift. The ocean's song is old and patient, swirling around you in delicate patterns, carrying stories of cities and dreams, of people who lived in perfect harmony with the world and each other. You can almost sense the pulse of life beneath the waves, the slow heartbeat of Atlantis as it rests beneath the moon. The city's marble towers shimmer just out of sight, their pale outlines rising and falling in the shifting light, as if they, too, are dreaming. It is a place untouched by fear or loss, a world suspended between past and future, safe and still, welcoming all who wish to find peace. You feel your body relaxing, every muscle unwinding, as you become a part of this ancient calm. The soft murmur of the sea surrounds you, wrapping you in a cocoon of warmth and gentle sound, soothing your mind and easing you towards sleep. It's as if the ocean itself is singing you a lullaby, each wave another verse, each breath another promise of comfort and rest. You let go, drifting closer to the hidden shores of Atlantis, feeling your thoughts fade like footprints in the sand, replaced by the soft certainty that you are safe here, welcomed and protected by the ancient night. The city waits, half remembered and half imagined, shining beneath the stars, and as you listen to the ocean's whispers, you feel yourself sinking into a peaceful, endless dream, where every worry dissolves and only wonder remains. Long before your first breath, and before the first story was ever told, there was a morning when the world itself seemed to be waking for the very first time. Picture the horizon trembling with anticipation, the night's last shadows retreating as the first light touched the endless ocean. From beneath those calm and waiting waters, Atlantis began to rise, not with thunder or haste, but with a silent majesty that only the patient earth could create. Mountains unfurled themselves, ancient and proud, their slopes catching the gold of dawn, while rivers found their paths, weaving silver ribbons across fields, so fresh they sparkled in the early sun. The city itself emerged like a dream becoming real, crafted by invisible hands, its foundations resting on the smoothest bedrock, each stone and pillar warmed by the sun's gentle touch. Marble walkways, white as clouds, curled around gardens that overflowed with flowers and trees, found nowhere else blossoms in shades that whispered of secrets, their fragrance drifting on the morning air. In those first days, the people of Atlantis stepped lightly over the new earth, their footprints, the only marks on the sand. Their eyes were bright with curiosity and awe, for everything around them was a miracle. Children watched as birds with jeweled feathers danced from tree to tree, and the clear water in the canals reflected the sky so perfectly it was hard to tell where earth ended and heaven began. Each morning brought new discoveries, a hidden grove filled with fruits sweeter than any before, a spring bubbling up with water so pure it sparkled like diamond dust in the sunlight. Laughter echoed through the open courtyards as friends gathered to share stories, their voices ringing with the joy of beginnings and the comfort of belonging. Everywhere, there was a sense of promise, a feeling that this city was meant to last forever. The Atlanteans were gentle and wise, guided by the memory of their ancestors and by dreams of what could be. They built their homes from stone and crystal, shaping them to follow the curves of the land, so that every house opened to the morning light. Great domes rose in the center of the city, catching the first rays of sunrise and sending them dancing across the streets, while fountains sang in every square, their waters cool and clear, carrying the wishes of those who paused to listen. As the city grew, so did the people's connection to the world around them. They learned the language of the wind, the secrets of the soil, and the gentle music of the tides. No one was left alone. Neighbors cared for one another, and every soul found its place in the great tapestry of the city's life. Each day unfolded like a new page in a book that had never been written before. As the sun climbed higher, the air shimmered with possibility, and the city bustled with activity. Artists painted scenes of wonder on the walls of temples, and sculptors shaped statues that seemed almost alive, their faces serene, their eyes filled with kindness. Musicians filled the avenues with soft melodies that mingled with the distant call of seabirds, and the scent of fresh bread and ripe fruit drifted from the open windows of bakeries and kitchens. Evenings brought gentle breezes, carrying the warmth of the day into twilight, when families gathered in gardens to share their dreams beneath the first stars. But the true heart of Atlantis was not in its buildings or its gardens, nor even in its laughter or songs. It was in the quiet moments just before dawn, when the city seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the sun to rise again. In those moments, everything felt possible, and the people of Atlantis knew they were living in a miracle made real, a world where every morning was the first morning, and every day was a gift waiting to be opened. As the city bathed in the soft light of dawn, hope blossomed in every corner, and the promise of Atlantis shimmered on the horizon, inviting all who wandered near to step forward into a world of endless wonder. Deep within the radiant heart of Atlantis, the city seemed to breathe and glow, its very center alive with gentle energy and the soft murmur of daily life. Every path curved inward toward the grand sanctuary, a marvel of artistry and devotion, its marble walls veined with gold and mother of pearl that shimmered in the shifting light. The great doors, always open, welcomed all who wished to enter, whether for wisdom, solace, or the simple joy of togetherness. Inside, the air was cool and fragrant, touched with the scent of jasmine and ancient scrolls, and light spilled in through tall windows, etched with swirling patterns that told stories older than memory. The sanctuary's vast halls were filled with quiet conversations and laughter that echoed softly, blending with the steady music of water as fountains sang their endless song, each note a gentle promise of peace. This was the place where the people of Atlantis gathered not only to learn, but to live in harmony. Young children sat in circles, their faces bright with curiosity, as scholars guided them through the mysteries of stars, the poetry of tides, and the secrets of growing things. Lessons here were more than just knowledge. They were woven with kindness, with stories and games, with gentle encouragement, and the wisdom passed down from countless generations. There was a place for everyone: artists with hands stained in bright colors, musicians who shaped silence into song, inventors dreaming up marvelous machines, and poets whose voices could still a restless heart. The air within the sanctuary was alive with invention, with questions and wonder, every person cherished for the gift they brought to the circle. But the grand sanctuary was more than a place of learning. It was the city's living heart, where the boundaries between indoors and outdoors faded into beauty. Courtyards overflowed with liferos of fragrant orange blossoms, lilies floating in crystal-clear pools, shaded alcoves where lovers whispered secrets beneath the vines. The columns were wrapped in climbing roses, and songbirds darted in and out, filling the space with their cheerful notes. Families picnicked beneath the ancient olive trees, sharing bread, laughter, and sweet fruit, while the sun filtered down through the leaves in golden shafts. The sanctuary became a gathering place for celebrations, both grand and simple, where every joy was multiplied by sharing, and sorrow was softened by gentle company. As the day unfolded, the heart of Atlantis thrummed with activity. Friends met for midday meals, spreading woven blankets on the grass and unpacking baskets filled with honeyed pastries and spiced olives, letting their conversations drift lazily in the shade. Artisans displayed their latest works in colorful markets, intricate mosaics, and delicately carved statues lining the paths. Children played among the fountains, inventing games and stories of their own, their laughter carried on the breeze. Elders sat together on sun-warmed benches, sharing tales of days gone by, their voices low and rhythmic, their stories forming the backbone of the city's living memory. Even the animals seemed at peace, here gentle deer grazing along the edges of the gardens, doves fluttering from branch to branch, their coos blending with the murmur of the fountains. As dusk approached, the sanctuary glowed with soft lantern light, the white marble corridors taking on a rosy hue as the sun slipped below the horizon. The city's musicians would gather by the central fountain, instruments tuned and ready, and their melodies would weave through the gathering crowd like a silken thread. Neighbors swayed together, children drifted to sleep in their parents' arms, and the soft strumming of lyres and flutes became a lullaby for the entire city. In those quiet moments, the people of Atlantis knew that they belonged not only to a place, but to each other, their lives entwined like the flowers that climbed the sanctuary's walls. Here, in the gentle heart of Atlantis, every day was an offering, every gathering a celebration, and every heartbeat a note in the city's eternal song, inviting all who listened to rest, to dream, and to wake, filled with peace. Beneath the luminous surface of Atlantis, hidden just out of sight from the sun-drenched gardens and tranquil courtyards above, lay an entirely different world, a place of secrets, serenity, and unimaginable beauty. The Atlanteans understood that true wonder often dwelled where few bothered to look, and so, winding gently down from the city's bustling streets, stone stairways curved into cool, shadowy corridors beneath the city itself. These ancient passageways were carved with intricate designs, their walls telling stories of creation, of sea and sky, of dreams both remembered and forgotten. Every step downward brought a sense of stillness, the air cooling, the sound of the city above, replaced by the faint echo of water running over stone, and the soothing chorus of hidden streams whispering their own lullabies in the dark. As you ventured deeper, the corridors opened into breathtaking grottos, where crystals grew in fantastical shapes, shimmering with a soft, internal glow that painted the walls in gentle colors turquoise and rose, lavender and gold. The light never flickered, never faded, bathing the caverns in a perpetual twilight. Some said these glowing stones were the very soul of Atlantis, pulsing with quiet magic, their energy woven into the dreams and hopes of every person who lived above. Pools as clear as glass nestled in the hollows of the stone, their surfaces undisturbed, reflecting the crystal light in patterns that danced and shifted with every gentle movement of the water. Here, the Atlanteans would come to reflect, to find silence and solace when the world above felt too bright, too hurried. It was a place of rest, of gentle introspection, a hidden sanctuary where time seemed to drift and dissolve like mist. In the deepest chambers, vast gardens flourished, tended with patient hands and ancient knowledge. Flowers bloomed in the twilight, their petals iridescent, opening only in the soft glow of the crystals, filling the air with perfumes so sweet and rare that a single breath could quiet even the most restless heart. Strange and beautiful plants climbed the walls, their leaves brushing the ceilings, and fruit grew in secret corners, ripening slowly in the coolness. Gentle creatures made their homes in these gardens, a silver-furred fox, curled in a hollow beneath glowing moss, a bird with feathers like opals, nesting in the crook of a low-hanging branch, tiny fish gliding silently through the still waters. The Atlanteans believed these creatures were the city's guardians, shy and gentle, blessing those who came seeking peace. At the heart of the underground world, ancient springs bubbled up from the earth, their waters cold and pure, rumored to possess healing properties. Atlantean healers would descend into the depths in times of need, gathering the water in smooth clay jars, their footsteps soft on the worn stone. Many nights, the corridors would be illuminated by lanterns carried in careful hands, flickering as groups of friends and families ventured below to tell stories by the pools, their voices low and gentle, their laughter echoing softly off the stone. Sometimes, the children would listen wide-eyed as elders spoke of the origins of Atlantis, of the long-ago days when the city and the sea made their first promises to each other, and how these promises were guarded in the silence below. For the curious and brave, secret doors led even deeper into the oldest and most mysterious parts of the city's foundation, where the air was thick with magic and possibility. Here, the walls hummed with ancient energy, and the bravest explorers would meditate in silence, listening to the distant song of the earth itself. They returned with dreams unlike any other visions of distant lands, glimpses of forgotten futures, and a sense of connection that lingered long after they returned to the world above. The people of Atlantis cherished these mysteries, understanding that their city was not just a marvel of stone and sun, but also of shadow, of quiet depths and endless potential. These hidden corridors and gardens, these pools and glowing crystals, made Atlantis more than a city. They made it a living wonder, a place where above and below, seen and unseen, waking and dreaming, all came together in perfect balance. Every Atlantean knew, as they moved through their days, that just beneath their feet was a world of serenity and secrets, waiting in patient silence, holding the stories and dreams of all who came before. And so, whether seeking comfort, inspiration, or simple rest, they found their way below, carried by the soft promise that in Atlantis there was always more to discover, always more peace to be found, just beneath the surface. When twilight began to brush its gentle colors across the sky, painting the city in shades of violet and blue, a hush would fall over Atlantis. It was a special hour, neither truly day nor night, a moment when the world seemed to pause and breathe, holding its secrets close. The people of Atlantis cherished this time, for it was when the city gathered at the water's edge, drawn by the ancient call of the sea. Lanterns flickered to life along winding paths, their soft light mirrored in the surface of the canals, and families strolled together, leaving behind the cares of the day. They were led by a quiet anticipation, a sense that something wondrous was about to unfold. Near the great harbor, where elegant boats bobbed gently in the evening tide, the people found their favorite place-old stone benches draped in ivy, grassy banks sloping gently to the shore, smooth rocks, warmed by the memory of sunlight. There, among friends and neighbors, they settled in, blankets spread, and baskets of sweet fruit and warm bread passed from hand to hand. The air grew cool and fresh, touched with the tang of salt and the distant promise of rain, and the sound of gentle laughter mingled with the low, steady murmur of the sea. In the distance, the last light of the sun clung to the higher spires of the city, while overhead, the first stars began to bloom. And then, as if on cue, the song of the sea began. It was not sung by any one voice, but by the ocean itself, the wind and waves weaving together in perfect harmony. Sometimes the song was gentle, a lullaby that crept into every heart and soothed every worry. Sometimes it rose and fell in rolling, endless phrases, as old as the world and as soft as a whispered secret. The people listened in reverent silence, eyes closed, faces turned toward the shimmering water. Children nestled close to their parents, small hands clutching beloved toys or curling into the grass, their eyelids growing heavy as the music of the sea washed over them. It was a song of memory and longing, of journeys begun and safely ended, a song that seemed to hold the very soul of Atlantis in its embrace. Seabirds wheeled overhead, their silhouettes dark against the deepening sky, and now and then one would swoop low, skimming the water's surface before vanishing into the distance. Even the animals felt the magic of the hour-gentle deer wandered down from the gardens, their movements unhurried, while the city's beloved cats curled on warm stones, purring quietly in the fading light. The whole of Atlantis seemed to settle into a single, perfect breath, held together by the song that rose from the sea. Every sound was gentle and meaningful, the splash of a leaping fish, the soft plink of a dropped pebble, the far-off call of a boatman singing to his oars. The world felt wide and infinite, yet impossibly close, every heart beating in time with the rhythm of the waves. Sometimes, the oldest among the Atlanteans would quietly tell stories, their voices mingling with the sea's melody. They spoke of ancestors who first listened to the ocean, who learned to read its moods and trust its wisdom, and of the pact made long ago to honor and protect the waters that gave the city life. They told tales of ancient storms and miraculous rescues, of ships guided safely home by the luminous fish that danced in the deep. Their words were gentle, never rushed, flowing like the current, bringing comfort and reassurance to all who listened. It was as if the sea itself approved, lending its own voice to every story, carrying the memories out across the endless blue. As darkness deepened and the first lanterns were lit along the boats and bridges, the city became a tapestry of soft gold and cool shadow, a place suspended between worlds. The song of the sea grew quieter, more intimate, as if the ocean was whispering just for you, inviting you to let go, to drift, to trust in the gentle arms of night. Some nights, the moon would rise high and full, casting a silvery path across the water, and the people would follow its light with their eyes, imagining all the distant places it touched. On those nights, wishes were made in silence, sent out across the waves like tiny ships, each one carrying a secret hope or dream. As sleep crept over the city, families gathered their blankets and baskets, moving slowly and softly through the night, unwilling to break the spell. The sea's lullaby followed them home, lingering in the mind and heart, a promise that no matter how far they traveled, the song would always call them back. Within each home, as candles were extinguished and eyes began to close, the echoes of the sea's song wove through every dream, carrying the peace and wonder of Atlantis into the quiet depths of night. The song of the sea was more than a melody, it was a gentle reminder that the world is vast, that beauty can be found in every moment of stillness, and that even as you drift towards sleep, you are held, cherished, and forever a part of the ancient, endless story that began on the shore of Atlantis. At the quiet core of Atlantis, shielded from the winds and sheltered beneath flowering trellises, stood a place more magical than any temple or palacia library, unlike any other in all the world. Its walls were crafted of the palest stone, smoothed by time, and set with iridescent shells that caught the shifting light and refracted it in gentle waves across the floor. The great doors swung open for everyone, and within, there was no harsh whisper to be silent, but rather an invitation to move softly, to let your thoughts and hopes unfold. Here, the Library of Dreams was not just a treasury of words, but a sanctuary of wonder, a space where stories and wishes came alive and drifted on the still air like petals on a summer pond. Inside, instead of shelves weighed down with books, the halls were filled with luminous orbs, some glowing with a blue or golden light, others swirling with colors that defied description. Each orb contained a dream, carefully gathered and preserved, a memory or longing, a hope or even a forgotten fear, transformed into gentle beauty. Visitors wandered among these floating lanterns, reaching out to hold one in their hands. When touched, the orb would grow warmer and brighter, and with closed eyes, anyone could glimpse the dream within, a vision of a distant land, the memory of a long-lost friend, the feeling of flying above the waves, or the scent of rain on orange blossoms at dusk. The dreams were never hurried or forced, but unfolded at their own perfect pace, washing over each person in waves of emotion and imagination. The library was tended by the dream keepers, kind souls chosen for their wisdom and their gentle hearts. They moved quietly among the orbs, their robes dusted with the faint shimmer of crystal dust, always ready to listen or offer a story to anyone who needed comfort. The dream keepers believed that every dream, no matter how small, was sacred, and they spent their days guiding visitors through the maze of memories, helping them find the stories that would bring peace or spark inspiration. Sometimes, they invited children to spin new dreams into being drawing pictures in sand or singing soft lullabies, watching with delight as the colors took shape and rose to join the other orbs floating overhead. In this way, the library was always growing, a living garden of possibility, tended with patience and love. The air within the library was always soft and cool, tinged with the scent of ancient paper, wildflowers, and a faint trace of the sea. Benches of smooth stone lined the walkways, tucked into alcoves beneath hanging gardens where readers and dreamers could rest for as long as they liked. Gentle fountains bubbled in quiet corners, their music encouraging reflection and inviting visitors to linger in the tranquil hush. At times, soft music would fill the hall's harp, played by unseen hands, a flute echoing in the distance, blending with the hush of voices and the sighs of the dreaming orbs. The library was a place where time slowed, where days could stretch into evenings and then into the velvet blue of night, all without worry or hurry. It was common for friends to meet here and share their favorite dreams. Two people might sit together, side by side, their hands resting on glowing orbs as they traded memories, laughter, and gentle secrets. Lovers met in quiet alcoves to create shared dreams, weaving together visions of their future and hopes for their children. Those who carried burdens or sadness found solace in the library, for the dream keepers would guide them to the orbs that soothed pain and brought peace, whispering encouragement and gentle wisdom as the colors of hope spun softly around them. And for those who simply wished to wander, the library offered endless fascination, each corner holding a new discovery, each turn revealing a dream that had once belonged to another and now waited to inspire someone new. On some evenings, when the stars above Atlantis seemed especially bright, the dreamkeepers would open the highest windows and let the night air spill in, filling the library with the scent of jasmine and the faint murmur of the ocean. Lanterns were lit in the branches of the trees outside, their light mingling with the glow of the dreaming orbs, and all who visited the library felt the gentle pull of sleep growing stronger. Stories flowed like water, dreams drifted down like rain, and the line between waking and dreaming blurred until it was impossible to say where one ended and the other began. The Library of Dreams was a place where every wish was cherished, where every memory found a home, and where the hearts of all who entered beat a little slower, a little softer, as if matching the gentle rhythm of the city itself. Here, surrounded by the glow of shared hope and the comfort of ancient stories, everyone felt a little less alone, little more a part of something timeless, luminous, and deeply, peacefully good. Even as the world outside grew dark and quiet, the library shone from within, a beacon of gentleness and wonder, carrying the dreams of Atlantis into the night and far beyond, where they would linger like starlight in the hearts of all who listened. Throughout Atlantis, beyond the bustling gardens and luminous sanctuaries, there were always quiet watchers, gentle souls, known simply as the Guardians. They moved among the people not as rulers or judges, but as quiet guides, blending into the rhythm of everyday life, their presence as natural and essential as the tides themselves. These guardians were chosen not for power or strength, but for their deep compassion and unwavering sense of peace, their ability to sense the unseen currents of feeling and hope that wove through the city. It was said that a guardian could still the most troubled heart with a single, patient glance, and that the children of Atlantis always slept soundly when a guardian paused to tuck a blossom behind their ear. From the earliest days, guardians learned the gentle language of the world around them, the subtle shiver of the earth before rain, the shift in the wind before a storm, the low hum of the ocean at dawn and dusk. They listened deeply to the song of birds and the murmur of trees, attuned to the invisible threads that connected every living thing. In times of joy, they celebrated with the people, dancing beneath the lanterns, their laughter light and sincere. In times of sorrow or fear, their quiet presence offered reassurance, a wordless promise that everything would return to calm, that Atlantis would always find its balance. Children loved to find them in the cool shade of olive groves or beside a quiet fountain, ready to share a gentle story or an old riddle, their voices never hurried, their smiles as soft as new leaves. The guardians watched over more than people they cared for, the gardens, the animals, the hidden springs, and the dreaming stones. At dawn, some could be found tending the roots of ancient trees, their hands brushing away dead leaves, their touch encouraging new growth. Others drifted through the city's quiet corners, checking that the lanterns were full, that the canals flowed clear, and that every creature bird, fox, or child was where it belonged. They moved slowly, as if carried by the same current that shaped the city itself, never forcing or rushing, but gently guiding. Their wisdom was shared in small, simple ways, a seed pressed into a waiting palm, a whispered reminder to listen to the rain, a suggestion to pause and watch the way the wind bent the tall grass. When visitors arrived in Atlantis, uncertain and awestruck, it was often a guardian who met them first, offering a cup of cool water, a place to rest, and a welcome as warm as sunlight. These newcomers were encouraged to share their stories and sorrows, to unburden themselves beside the gentle rivers or in the quiet halls of the sanctuary. The guardians listened without judgment or interruption, always patient, always kind, believing that every story mattered, every feeling deserved a place in the tapestry of city life. Through their example, the people of Atlantis learned the art of kindness, the gift of patience, and the deep comfort that comes from simply being heard and understood. On certain nights, when the moon rose full and bright, the guardians would gather the children of Atlantis for a moonlit walk through the city. Together, they'd wander through the gardens and along the softly lit canals, telling tales of the sea and sky, teaching the children how to listen for the song beneath the silence. Sometimes they paused to rest beneath the stars, pointing out the constellations and reminding everyone young and old that each person was a star in the great pattern of life, shining their own gentle light. In this way, the guardians helped everyone remember that they belonged, that they were seen and cherished, and that even in the darkest hour, peace could always be found by listening closely to the world's quiet wisdom. The guardians believed in the healing power of dreams, and on evenings, when someone in the city was troubled or afraid, they would leave small gifts on doorsteps, a sprig of lavender, a polished stone, a note, written in careful, flowing script. These tokens were reminders that every heart, no matter how burdened, could find its way back to peace. Even those who wandered the deepest corridors of Atlantis, searching for answers in the shadows and silence, knew that the guardians would be there, waiting with gentle encouragement and a light to guide them home. In Atlantis, the guardians were never distant or unreachable. They were friends, mentors, and quiet companions, always nearby, their gentle wisdom shaping the city's spirit. Their presence reminded everyone that safety and harmony did not come from walls or rules, but from the simple, patient care of one soul for another. The city flourished not just because of its beauty or wisdom, but because it was watched over with kindness, its dreams guarded by those who loved without measure or condition. As night deepened and the last lanterns flickered, the guardians would pass through the city one last time, whispering blessings into the quiet air, their footsteps as soft as hope, leaving behind a peace so deep and gentle that even the sea seemed to sigh in contentment, cradling Atlantis in its eternal embrace. There was one night each year in Atlantis when the air itself seemed to shimmer with expectation, when every heart felt lighter and every secret hope rose to the surface. This was the night of the Festival of Stars, a celebration hidden from the outside world, passed down from generation to generation in stories and dreams. For days before the festival, excitement would ripple through the city like the first warm breeze of summer. Children counted the hours, elders smiled knowingly, and artisans worked quietly in their workshops, crafting lanterns of colored glass, delicate as dragonfly wings, to be set afloat on the canals. Everywhere, there was a hush of magic, a sense that, for just one night, Atlantis belonged not only to its people, but also to the stars themselves. As the sun set on the evening of the festival, the city was transformed. Every street, every garden, every bridge and courtyard glowed with 1,000 gentle lights. Lanterns hung from trees and drifted across the water, their soft flames mirrored in the calm surface below, making it impossible to tell where the city ended and the sky began. The aroma of sweet pastries and honeyed fruit filled the air, mingling with the perfume of night-blooming flowers, and the laughter of children echoed across the plazas, bright and free. Neighbors greeted each other with quiet joy, sharing stories, trading memories, and gently reminding one another of the wishes they had whispered to the stars in years gone by. Soon, the true magic of the night arrived, as the sky grew deep and velvet blue and the first meteors flashed across the heavens. All eyes turned upward in awe. Each shooting star traced a silver path, brief and beautiful, through the darkness, and for a moment, every worry fell away, replaced by wonder and hope. The people of Atlantis watched in silence, their hearts swelling with dreams too big for words, and when the time felt right, they began the ancient tradition of the festival, whispering their wishes to the sky. One by one, it was said that on this night, every wish spoken aloud would be heard, not only by the stars, but by the city itself. Children wished for adventure, artists wished for inspiration, the lonely wished for friendship, and all, young and old, wished for happiness and peace. As the stars continued to fall, the city filled with music. Musicians gathered on floating platforms and along the canal banks, their songs drifting through the night, sometimes lively and bright, sometimes so gentle that they felt like a lullaby meant for the whole world. Dancers moved in swirling patterns, their shadows flickering in the lantern light, while the youngest children spun in circles, dizzy with joy, and the oldest watched with soft smiles, remembering every festival that had come before. It was a night when time itself seemed to stand still, and even the moon hung low and full, its silver light blessing every rooftop and every face turned skyward. Throughout the evening, families released their lanterns onto the water, watching as they floated away, each carrying a secret wish. Some lanterns were sent in memory of loved ones, their gentle glow a reminder that nothing is ever truly lost. Others were set adrift by friends, their laughter mingling as they watched their lights join the countless others, creating a living river of hope that wound its way through the city. There was a sense of togetherness, of being part of something ancient and endless, a reminder that, for one perfect night, everyone's dreams could rise and shine alongside the stars. As midnight approached and the final meteors traced their last arcs across the sky, the city grew quieter, filled with the hush of contentment and gentle exhaustion. Lanterns continued to glow in windows and on the water, their reflections mingling with those of the stars overhead. People lingered together, savoring the last songs, the last dances, the last whispered wishes. The magic of the festival lingered, wrapping Atlantis in a feeling of deep safety and belonging, a promise that whatever the year might bring, hope and wonder would return when the stars next fell. Eventually, families made their way home, the children drifting into sleep with the memory of shooting stars in their dreams, and the elders walking hand in hand, hearts full of gratitude and peace. The city, bathed in starlight and soft golden lantern glow, settled into stillness, every corner touched by the memory of the festival and the gentle certainty that wishes matter. Long after the last laughter faded and the last lantern was carried away by the tide, the spirit of the Festival of Stars remained a quiet, lasting magic, waiting to blossom once again beneath another sky. When the people of Atlantis would gather to wish, to dream, and to remember their place beneath the endless, watching stars. There came a night in Atlantis when the air was softer than silk, and the moon was so bright it seemed to cast a silver path from the highest mountain to the deepest garden. The city, usually alive with gentle voices and the music of laughter, seemed to hush itself in anticipation, as if holding its breath for a story yet to unfold. People moved slowly through the streets, lanterns in their hands casting ripples of warm gold across the marble, their footsteps light and unhurried. It was a night when the everyday world felt distant, as though Atlantis itself was drifting on the edge of a beautiful and mysterious dream. That evening, an extraordinary sense of peace settled over every home, every garden, and every hidden passage. In the great sanctuary, the fountains trickled more quietly than usual, their waters clear and still as glass. The library's orbs glowed a little softer, their colors swirling like gentle clouds. Even the animals sensed a change. The songbirds tucked their heads beneath their wings, and the silver-furred foxes curled up in the deepest corners of the gardens, while the moonlight found its way through every window, painting beds and floors in a pattern of shifting light. Mothers sang lullabies that faded into silence as children drifted into dreams, and the elders, wise and serene, gathered on balconies to watch the stars slowly spin across the sky. It was on this quiet, shimmering night that a gentle drowsiness began to sweep through Atlantis, not the heavy sleep of exhaustion, but a peaceful, floating sensation, like being rocked in the arms of the ocean itself. The city's ancient guardians felt at first a warm, enveloping comfort that whispered through the trees and shimmered across the water. People found themselves yawning in the middle of conversations, their thoughts slowing, their worries dissolving, replaced by a profound sense of calm. Some curled up beside loved ones beneath blankets scented with lavender and sea air. Others rested in gardens, lulled by the scent of night-blooming jasmine and the faint, distant music of the waves. One by one, the lights in the windows of Atlantis faded, gently and naturally, as though the city was dimming its glow in harmony with the stars above. Doors remained open, letting in the cool breath of night, and the breeze carried the faintest echoes of lullabies from house to house, weaving a blanket of comfort over everyone it touched. The hidden corridors beneath the city, once alive with the footsteps of explorers, became silent, except for the tranquil trickle of underground springs. All through Atlantis, it felt as if time itself had paused, waiting with infinite patience, while the city's people slipped into dreams. Yet this was no ordinary sleep. Some would later recall the sense of drifting, not just through dreams, but through memories and wishes, their minds floating on waves of color and light. It was as if the whole city shared a single dreamer vision of endless gardens, quiet libraries, laughter echoing over calm waters, and lanterns drifting forever across the sky. In this dream, Atlantis was never lost, never forgotten. Instead, it became a place where the stories of the past and the hopes of the future mingled and danced, each soul comforted and cherished, each wish carried forward like a lantern on the tide. As the night deepened, the city rested more completely than ever before, surrounded by the gentle hush of the sea. It was said that even the ocean grew quieter, its waves smoothing out as if in reverence, holding Atlantis in a perfect cradle of silence and peace. Above, the stars watched in kind, their light unwavering, while below, the city slumbered in a harmony so profound that nothing could disturb it. For the people of Atlantis, this sleep was not an ending, but a gift, a chance to rest without worry or sorrow, to be held by the place and the people they loved, to know with certainty that they belonged to a story that would never truly fade away. And so Atlantis slept own heart, one mind, one dream. Time moved on beyond its shores, and the tides washed gently overhead, but beneath the waves, the city lay at rest, every soul wrapped in quiet wonder, safe and at peace, journeying together into the boundless beauty of dreams. Even now, long after Atlantis has slipped into legend and song, the spirit of the city lingers quietly in the world, weaving itself into the spaces between dreams and dawn. There are moments, just as you begin to drift away from waking, when you feel a soft invitation and unspoken promise that the wonders of Atlantis are never truly gone, that they wait in the hidden corners of sleep, ready to be discovered again. As you close your eyes, the familiar world grows gentle and distant, and another world draws near, shimmering with possibility. You might find yourself wandering a shoreline you've never seen before, the sand cool and smooth beneath your feet, the ocean stretching out in infinite calm. Overhead, the sky glows with the colors of memory and hope, and every breath feels like the beginning of a story you already know by heart. The city itself emerges, slowly and silently, not with the noise of crowds but with the hush of belonging. Marble streets unfold before you, spiraling toward quiet gardens, filled with the scent of orange blossoms and the music of hidden fountains. Lanterns hang from every archway, casting gentle light on benches where friends have always waited for you, their faces familiar, their smiles as warm as home. The canals curve through the city like silver ribbons, boats floating past with nobody in a hurry, each one an invitation to drift a little further, to let go a little more, to trust the gentle current of dream. There are no locked doors, no harsh words, no shadow of fear, just a peaceful acceptance, a sense that you are exactly where you belong, free to wander, to rest, to remember or forget as you please. Sometimes you meet the guardians, their presence as steady as the sea, offering a wordless reassurance that all is well. They guide you gently to places you've never been, and yet always longed for: a quiet library, filled with the glow of dreaming orbs, a garden where every blossom remembers your favorite scent, a moonlit balcony where you can watch the stars rise and fall like wishes set free. You sense the laughter of children in the distance, the quiet wisdom of elders telling stories that have no end, the endless harmony of lives lived side by side in peace. All around you is the soft echo of belonging, the deep comfort of knowing that nothing in this world or the next could ever truly separate you from the love and wonder you find here. In this dreaming Atlantis, time is soft and circular, with no sharp edges or endings. You can walk for hours, or moments sit makes no difference, for every path leads you deeper into tranquility. The city is always unfolding, revealing new sanctuaries, secret groves, hidden corridors sparkling with crystal light, and every new discovery brings not surprise, but a gentle recognition, as if you have come home at last to a place you have visited in dreams since the beginning of time. The sea, too, is always near, its lullaby in the air, a constant reminder that you are cradled in safety, rocked by waves of memory and hope. The sound soothes away any last tension, drawing you further into restful sleep, deeper into the heart of the story. As the dream grows softer, you realize that Atlantis was never just a place of marble and gardens and song, but a feeling, a certainty that somewhere, somehow, you are cherished and safe, forever invited to rest in a world where every day ends in peace and every night is filled with wonder. No matter where you are or how far you wander, the memory of Atlantis lingers just beneath the surface of every dream, ready to welcome you back with open arms. And as you slip quietly into sleep, you carry with you the gift of that ancient city, the calm of endless gardens, the kindness of gentle guardians, the warmth of lantern light on peaceful waters. These are the treasures you awaken with, the stories that linger when morning arrives, soft and bright and full of possibility. Now, as you rest, the boundaries of the waking world dissolve and the shimmering gates of Atlantis open once again. Each breath draws you further into that gentle embrace, each heartbeat a reminder that the story continues, that the wonders of Atlantis live on in your dreams, and that peace and belonging are yours whenever you close your eyes and listen for the song of the sea.